friends, happy Financial Friday. Rory and I just got back from a literally midnight walk around Mena, Arkansas, and that's one kind of cool thing about living in a really small town is that it's deserted at night, like completely deserted. I saw two humans. They were both cops taking a smoke break by their cars. We literally walked all through downtown, never saw a soul. So it was nice, and I freaked out a couple of Instagrammers because I posted a picture on my Go Budget Girl account of me and Rory sitting in the middle of Main Street, and you can see behind us that for as far as the eye can see there's no cars, no life. So it was nice weather. It was a fun, refreshing walk. So that aside, if you want to see my adventures or shame me on my midnight walking, Instagram account is Go Budget Girl. All right, so let's jump in with the questions. Donna Galvan asks, I have a money question for you. Where does your renter's insurance fit into your budget? Do you have a savings account for that? So I have two answers for you because I do it differently now than I did in the past, and you can do this either way. There are a lot of options. If it's I pay monthly, and the way I have it set up right now is that I pay one company, and it's State Farm. They gave me a good rate here for both renter's insurance and car insurance, and it was very cheap to do them together. Previously, I had a different car insurance company down in Hammond, Louisiana, because insurance is insane there. And they did not give me a good offer on rental insurance. So I just went through an internet third party. I just like Googled renter's insurance, and I had a couple of quotes set up, and then I just paid for it through their monthly. It was auto drafted out of my account, just like my car insurance and my cell phone. So you can do it either of those ways. However, if you are talking about, since you're talking about a savings account, if you have a renter's insurance that is maybe quarterly or annually or twice a year, yes, what you need to do with that is take the cost, and you'll know what the cost is because they'll give you the quote, and then divide that out by how many months you have to save for it. So if you pay quarterly and your renter's insurance is, let's just say $1,000, and it shouldn't be, but that's easy for my brain, then you would need to, did I say quarterly? Then you would need to save $250 a month, and then on every fourth month, you would have the money to pay for it. That said, do not pay $1,000 a year for renter's insurance. It should be way cheaper than that. I think I pay like $100 a year for renter's insurance. So next time I'll pick better numbers. But yes, try your car insurance company. Do not just go with whatever they offer you. Renter's insurance should probably be around $10 to $20 a month, or cheaper. I've heard of cheaper. I've heard of a little more expensive, depending on where you live. But yeah, shop around a little bit and get yourself the best deal, even if that means going against your car insurance company. But check with them too, because maybe they will have a good deal. All right, next. Kristin R, Dollar Saving Mom, says, I have a question. We recently found out that we have a leak in our roof. We've gotten a couple estimates. It's $700 just to patch the area that's leaking, or $7,000 to replace the whole roof, which is really needed. Husband and I are just getting ready. We're ready to just get the $700 patch and try saving for the whole roof and paying cash. Family keeps telling us that it's stupid to pay that much money for a patch, and we should just get a loan for the new roof. Their concerns are that if we fix the patch, there's a possibility for new leaks in the future. What would you do? Patch and save for a new roof, or bite the bullet and get some kind of loan? I thought on your question a lot, and I actually reached out to Jackie from Gazelle Intense just because I wanted backup on my answer, and she said the exact same thing that I was thinking. Pay for what you can right now with cash, and then very quickly try to save up for the new roof if you do need it. I don't think we're ever going to tell you that you should get a loan unless it's something that is like endangering your family. But if you've saved up the money for the patch, yes, absolutely pay for the patch, pay for what you can in cash, and then start setting aside money for your new roof when you need it. And get them to give you some sort of estimate on how long do we have before we really need a new roof. And if they tell you a year, 2 years, figure out how much that's going to cost and start sinking funding that. Now, when you do get the new roof, I'm assuming you own your home, it'll be a 10-year or 20-year roof. It'll be set for whatever. And what a lot of homeowners do that I've heard is they actually plan to replace that roof. They go ahead and sinking fund that roof long term. So if your roof is a 15-year roof and they tell you we guarantee this for 15 years, then take that cost, divide it by 15 years, and then figure out how much you should be saving each year for that new roof in the future. And then this will never catch you off guard again. You'll always have the money there for a new roof when you need one. All right. And thank you for asking. I did get a kind of a backup opinion on that. I wish that you had the money saved that you could go ahead and replace your roof, but I do advise you to just pay what you have saved for right now. Okay. Good luck. All right. Prettiest Medina says, I've been listening to Dave Ramsey for years, but I've not been in 100% because I've run into obstacles. I'll be relocating soon due to my mother's illness. I did my tax return and have suggest recurved it so I paid off the little credit card I had. Yay, paid off a small loan. Okay, use your tax return money to pay off that. I also have a fully funded 1K emergency fund. That's your baby emergency fund. Since I'll be moving soon, do you recommend saving more money for my move and then get back onto my debt snowball? I haven't written down my debts. Most are student loans. First, write down your debts. Know what kind of situation you're in. And two, deal with the situation that is in front of you. It's kind of the same advice I just gave Kristin about her roof. If you know you're going to be moving soon, if there's a situation in front of you that you know you're going to have to deal with, go ahead and deal with that situation. So this is why I have a moving fund, because journalism is not the most secure of fields. And I know I usually move every couple of years at least for better opportunities in jobs and for work, because there usually aren't enough newspapers in a town that I can just move between them. I move for better opportunities. So when I know a move is coming, I start stocking away money for that, because that's a situation you're dealing with right now. I would never allow myself to go into debt to take advantage of a better work opportunity. I don't want to have to charge a move and have instead been putting money towards my debt. Now, I'm not going to stop paying my debt because I know I'm moving soon, but I'm not going to take on more debt when I've been paying on my debt. I hope that makes sense. So deal with the situation that is in front of you. Pay your minimums. Figure out what sort of financial situation you're in. Congratulations on paying off that small loan. Keep that going though. But yeah, your new priority, other than keeping your four walls intact and paying your minimums and all your bills, is going to be saving for a move if you're certain that that's coming and that's coming soon and you want to be prepared for that. So you want to be able to cash flow things that drop right in front of you. Basically, deal with your present and your future, or your present at least, over debt that's in the past. Thank you for asking that question. I think that's a really important thing to address. Just like Dave says, step off your baby steps if you're having a baby. You need to stop that for a second. Deal with the present. I'm rubbing my belly, though I'm not pregnant. Not pregnant. Sock away money for that situation that is right in front of you. All right? Journey to Freedom Homestead, and I put this question here because it's on the same vein. Great video. I have a question. We are moving from Hawaii to Georgia in 3 months or less. We have done a budget. Woohoo! Woohoo! She wrote woohoo. We have a family of 5 humans and 3 puppies, and we figured it's going to cost us a minimum of $10,000 for the move. But we also have $10,000 in credit card debt. We will be able to save up the $10,000 by the time we move. But it's tough to see the savings building knowing that we could be paying off the credit card debt. Would you pay off the credit card and hope that the move doesn't cost as much as you had planned, or would you just pay the minimum on the credit card and save as much as possible for the move? We want to cut up those cards but are afraid that we will run out of money, so we have not cut them up. We aren't using them, but if our emergency fund or moving fund is depleted, we will have no choice. We cannot wait until later to move because my husband is in the military and we have to move if they say it's time. And no, the military does not pay for the entire move, only parts of it. They pay for plane tickets for humans, only shipping for household goods in one car. They'll also refund our time at the hotel, but we have to pay for that up front. I know this is a long one. Hopefully you can help. We are selling as much as possible in hopes of the move costing less and we can make a dent in the credit card debt. We're not willing to get rid of our dogs. As a few friends have suggested, they are part of the family. P.S. We love tiny homes too, and are viciously researching that as an option for our next home. First of all, defriend anyone that suggests you get rid of your dogs. No, they are part of your family, and I think you have the right idea here to pay your minimums and then save as much as you can for the move. I put this question here because it's the same advice I gave to the last two people as well. Deal with the situation that is right in front of you. You know, you're absolutely certain that you're moving, and that's wonderful that you're going to be able to save up $10,000. So yeah, pay your minimums and then sock up that cash to get your move out of the way. You don't want to go into debt for that. You absolutely don't, especially since you know that you have the time to save for it. Save the money, make the move, and then get back on the credit card debt. Pay off train. You're going to do great. Congratulations. And good job thinking this all the way through. You do not want to have to charge a move, especially if you know that you can save for it in time. Deal with your present over your past. Your four walls are important. Moving is one of those essentials. Good luck. All right. Rachel Fontaine says, hey, Budget Girl, I have a few questions. Why do you move every couple of years? Do you have a 5-year plan? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? And I'm a person that likes to think ahead. Are you the same? I've been moving every couple of years for the last few years because of opportunities within my profession. Like I mentioned previously, there aren't usually multiple newspapers in a town, and you don't usually get to swap between them. In Columbus, Mississippi, I did that. I worked for one newspaper, and then I worked for the competing newspaper, which is not really smiled upon when you go to work for the competitor, but I didn't have a lot of choice. And then I moved to Louisiana to work for a paper down there, and then I moved here to work for a paper here. So it's just part of my profession. You go where the jobs are, you go where the opportunities are, and I really like doing that. I lived in the same town in Mississippi my entire childhood, and I know a lot of people that move around all the time say they wish they had been able to, you know, graduate with the same people they went to preschool with. But, you know, I had that travel bug. I want to experience other things in other places. So, yeah, I like moving every couple of years, actually, and experiencing new things and meeting new people. And it's going to be a big city next time. It's going to be a big city next time, people, because despite it being fun to walk around at midnight and not seeing a soul in Mena, Arkansas, I am not a small town girl. Do I have a 5-year plan? Not really. Other than being out of debt and being able to do whatever the hell I want. That's my 5-year plan, is to be in a financial situation where I can take advantage of opportunities that arise and be able to pursue things that I want to do and my passions, and to be able to take a job in California if I want to and not have to worry about the money. So to be financially secure is my 5-year plan. And yeah, I'm a person that likes to think ahead. But at the same time, I've also kind of learned that you can set up a perfectly well thought out plan in your head and say, you know, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and then life just craps all over that. But sometimes wonderful things pop up too. I'm not going to be a complete Debbie Downer, but yeah, I've you know, if you had asked me that when I was a kid, I could have told you exactly where I'd be when I was 30, that kind of thing. But I've since learned to be a little bit more flexible, and just hope that in 5 years I will be happy, and Rory and I will be healthy, and we'll be doing something that we enjoy, and we'll be extremely financially stable and have options and the freedom that comes with that. Okay, thank you for your question. All right, Judith Byrne asks, car question. My car needs 300 pounds worth of work, and this includes an emissions test called an MOT here in the UK. Would you have the work done even if you just saved 1,300 quid for a new one, or would you have the work done anyway? Or, I've sinking funded the repairs. I just have to decide by June. Well, it depends. The car that you have now that needs 300 pounds worth of work done, can you purchase a new car with the 1,300 pounds that you have saved? And congratulations for saving that, by the way. I think that's fantastic, and that we should always be saving for new cars, because eventually they're going to go out on us. Is that enough money to buy a new car? And can you avoid having to pay for the repairs and the emissions tests on this old one to fund the new car? If you're going to have to take out a loan for the remainder of the new car, I'd say no, because you should just use some of that money to get your car repaired and then keep saving until you can get the new car. Also, is getting the first car repaired going to make it worth at least that much more for when you sell it or trade it in or whatever you decide to do? So there's some factors you have to consider there, but I would say the main one is, do you have the money for the new car? Is that enough to pay for the new car that you need, that's going to be reliable, that's going to get you places? That doesn't sound like much. I think that's probably about $3,000 exchanged. You know, 1,300 pounds. I know it's almost double or just over double if you exchange that to dollars. And I don't know what the European car market is like. So if you can just not deal with the repairs and the emissions tests and all that, and go ahead and cash buy your new car, go ahead. Sell the old one, don't deal with it. However, if that's not enough, go ahead, repair the car that you've got, get it working right, and keep saving for your new one. Good luck. All right, and thank you for asking. Jen Thompson asks, I wish Dave would have advice for single parents more often. Also, doesn't your accountant give you the option to pay for the fee straight out of your return? I have never gone to an accountant that offered that, but I would never, ever, ever take it, because that would mean that the return is going to them, and then they're cutting me a check. Which, maybe I'm just not a trusting person, but I want the government to cut me my tax refund check, and not anyone else. When I did my tax, why I don't do my own taxes video, a lot of people said, you know, I've heard all these horror stories about, you know, little tax return places stealing money from your thing. And I don't know how true that is, but I do know that if the government cuts me my check directly, then my tax person isn't doing anything. I paid my fee from them. Our relationship with that is done. So, no, I wouldn't advise that. I would advise either saving up a little bit of money for the fee that your tax person charges, or you can cheat a little bit if you have a little bit of a buffer in your account like I do. I keep just a little more money than I need for the month in my account, just in case, you know, check days line up, etc. And it only takes a couple of weeks to get your tax return back. And I just kind of borrow from myself this year, because I just put the numbers into my budget. It was $155 to get my taxes done. I wrote them a check out of my account, and then when I got my refund, I subtracted that $155, and that's how much I consider my refund to be. So, but no, I would be very wary of any institution that would take their fee out of your return and then cut you a check, or lend you the amount. I've seen advertisements for that before, of like, come in and get your taxes done with us and we'll cut you a check today, and basically lend you a short-term cash advance. No. I don't know what kind of fees they charge for that, but I do know that you can wait 2 weeks for your tax return. Hopefully. No, don't do that. I hope you guys are better with money than that you can see through that. All right, that is all the questions I have time for today. I do have a few more that sorry, I'll do one more. All right. I'm sorry. I'm going to cut this out, maybe. maybe. Amanda Walker says, a lot of tax preparers allow you to either not pay them until you receive your return or automatically take out their fee from your return before you receive it. Once again, that means they're getting your tax return and then just charging it to you. And I don't trust that. That's not the way I always go to licensed CPAs and they charge you a fee and then the government sends you the check. I always get it direct deposited straight from the IRS and it shows up in my bank account. IRS deposit, my tax return. No, I don't trust it. Don't trust it. All right. DDM75 says, don't you think a person appreciates their education more when they pay for it? I admire people who take responsibility for their life. Not enough of that today. You are so inspiring. Thank you very much. That's very sweet. And in reference to last Financial Friday's video where I was asked if I could get someone else like my parents or a relative to help me pay off my student debt. And I explained why I didn't think that's not an option and how you should take personal responsibility for your debt. So that video will be linked below in the playlist with all of my other Financial Friday videos. And my very last question from Dominica L is, could you explain how your budget for debt works? I know you've mentioned the $10K goal for the year and $400 a month towards a student loan debt, but that's not enough, is it? You are correct. It's actually $500 a month that I budget to put towards my student loan, but I do an irregular income budget. I do my budget based on how much I know I'll be getting from work because I'm salaried. So it's $2,200 a month, and what I do is in my budget I have it broken down so every single thing will get paid. Now I also make a little bit of money from YouTube, and sometimes I have little side gigs that I do. So anything extra that I make goes towards my debt. Usually it's about $800 total that I'm able to put in, including the $500 that I've budgeted. So that is how I make up my 10K goal for this year and for last year. It's you know, it's a little high because I want to strive towards that. It's about $880 that I need to put a month toward my debt to get $10,000 a year paid off. So, you know, when I was in Hammond, I worked a lot of overtime. I can't do that here. So I have to find other ways to get my income up. Down there, I also did like secret shopping and all sorts of stuff. But, you know, I'm making it work. But yeah, the $500 is basically what I consider the secured amount. No matter what, that's getting paid, even if I don't make a cent from anything else outside of work. But that's coming out of my salary paycheck. That's what's definitely going in. But my goal is to pay off $10,000 a year, so I'm trying to get about $880 or more a month, because sometimes there are high months and sometimes there are low months to my debt. So yeah, you were right when you were looking at it. You're like, that doesn't sound like that's enough to get that paid off, but I do have other supplemental income that I add to it. So I hope that explains some of your questions, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Please ask your Financial Friday questions below. And if I have not gotten to yours, I will. I have them in paper. I print them out. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you very, very soon. Please like and subscribe and do all that other stuff. Bye.